The island of Sodor is a place where almost anything can happen, and when anything can happen, it almost always does, often leaving the characters in sticky situations. Who exactly helps these engines out of these situations though? Well, if not the breakdown train or Rocky, normally it's Harvey, a crane engine, and one of the most unique Thomas and Friends characters in the roster. Out of all of the new Season 6 characters, Harvey was always my favorite. I used to think his voice was a little annoying.
Welcome, Murdoch.
But I loved his personality, I loved his design, and I loved the idea of a breakdown train being in a steam engine. Though the last thing my young mind thought was this was a real thing. Oh boy was I wrong, and I'm sure you guys can tell that given the title of this video. Today we'll be taking a look at the interesting basis of one of Sodor's most interesting locomotives. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Harvey in real life. Harvey is based on the Dübs crane tank number 4101. Just like Harvey, a very unique engine, and I'm sure you can see the inspiration right off the bat. This locomotive was built by Dübs & Company in 1901 and was delivered to Shelton Iron and Steel Works in Staffordshire. The engine weighed about 34 tons, and as you can see had a whole crane mounted on top of its boiler. A smaller engine powers the jib 360 degrees. While situated within the construction of the jib, a reciprocating engine gives a lifting capacity of over 5 tons. So this locomotive can pick up about that. And at the ironworks, the engine would do exactly what you expected. Move around extremely heavy bits of metal, and re-rail any wagons or other locomotives that came off the track. On the boiler itself, the locomotive doesn't feature a dome due to restricted clearances, with its regulator valve being mounted on the front tube plate. For the next 72 years, Dubsy, as it was always known but never named, was at Shelton and up to 1968 was an extremely useful workhorse around the steelworks complex. A new boiler was fitted by Kerr Stewart in 1921, and up until 1961, this locomotive was like other normal steam locomotives, that being it ran on coal, but at this time it was converted to oil burning, and by 1968 was taken out of everyday service, being replaced with diesel cranes. In April of 1970, it was purchased by Mr. B.J. Buckfield, Mr. N.J. Smith, and Mr. R.P. Weishman for preservation and placed in storage. It was taken out of storage in September of 1973, when it was transported to the East Somerset Railway at Cranmore. It became the shed pilot and assisted with heavy lifting jobs, and in the summer of 1977, a hydraulic boiler test was carried out, and its oil equipment was removed. The locomotive returned to service in September of 1977, in its original condition as a coal burner. After almost 9 years of continuous service, including invaluable use during the building of the Mendip Vale extension, the engine was withdrawn from service in June of 1986, pending some serious boiler repairs. In 1999, the locomotive was sold and subsequently moved to Foxfield Railway, to hopefully return to traffic. For a while it was under repair on the Foxfield Railway, but by the summer of 2020, the locomotive was back in operation. Things may have looked bleak for a second there, but I'm happy to say at this point, the ending to this story is nothing but positive, and from what I can tell, this locomotive is doing just fine. And that, everyone, was the story of Harvey in real life, a basis that I really wasn't sure existed, but the moment I found out about was instantly fascinated with, and hopefully after this you guys feel the same way. As a kid I liked Harvey for a number of reasons. His unique design was only one of them, but finding out that that unique design is actually a real life thing that one day I might have the chance to go see for myself is something that I really enjoy, and honestly helps to add to that fact. It makes Harvey, to me, much more interesting, and his real-life counterpart just as much. So while the show didn't do as much with him as I wish they did, at least there's more to his character than the show presented, and this has been my analysis into that. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for even more train content. There's always more stuff on the way. And if you have an idea of another basis that I should take a look at, be sure to let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Fancy not securing your freight cars on a hill? They'll come back to spook you and your special funnel.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!